question. Who are you going to vote for?
I don't think I'm gonna vote, but if I did vote, I would definitely vote.
What would you say are America's biggest problems right now?
America chooses to be divided into two groups, and that's wrong.
I know what the Bible says. We're getting really close to the return of Christ.
Do you feel like there should be age maximums for presidential candidates?
Why does every president have to be like an old fart?
No offense to Biden, but like, you can't even finish the sentence.
Look, if
Thank you, President Biden.
Today I'm in the nation's capital and I'm gonna be asking people who you're gonna be voting for and why.
Well, I ain't really gonna vote, but if I would, probably Joe Biden.
Why is that?
I think Trump trying to get rid of Obamacare, and that's my insurance. So Trump, his way of dealing with the inflation and the taxes is that he wants to lower the taxes for the rich and, get rid of some of the assets that people like me use, like lower food stamps, get rid of Obamacare. That's assets that me and my family use. So, but I don't really like Joe Biden either because he ain't doing nothing evil, but it's just like, so if I had to choose, I'd choose Joe Biden.
So you're selling Trump merch, so maybe I don't even need to ask the question, who are you gonna vote for?
I don't think I'm gonna vote, but if I did vote, I would definitely vote for Trump.
Oh, so is this kind of more so for like the bag or what?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
How many sales have you gotten today?
Man, I probably made like 300 so far.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
First of all, I can't vote. If I am a citizen, I'd vote for Joe Biden.
Okay, yeah, because I wasn't sure, because I saw your shirt and I was like, I can't tell if this is like a positive thing for Joe Biden.
Positive thing. It's a positive
Got you.
thing. Yeah.
Why do you want to vote for him?
Legislation-wise, he accomplished so much, literally.
Like what?
Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS Act, the IRA is so powerful. Literally, the European countries are fearing that manufacturing would completely move to the United States.
I think this is probably an obvious answer, but who are you voting for and why?
That would be Mr. Donald Trump.
Why is that?
We're looking forward to getting him back in office and letting him do what he does, straighten this country back out.
I'm curious, who are you going to vote for?
I can't vote because I lost my right to vote.
How so?
Committed a crime.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
If you could vote, are you going to vote for Trump, I'm guessing, or?
I would definitely vote for Trump. A lot of people don't like Trump because they feel as though he an asshole or things of that nature, but you can't have a pushover in office neither running your country. And I feel like Trump would stand up far better than Sleepy Joe.
I'm going to vote for Biden because the other guys is not sane in my book. And I don't trust him. I mean, one good thing about Trump is what he says he's going to do, he's going to do.
How about Biden in that sense? Has he done what he said he's going to do?
Well, unfortunately, of a country of 350 million, we have two to choose from. Biden has done some of the things, but honestly, I think he's a little old for the office too. But I only have two choices, and that's the problem.
So is this more of like a vote of the lesser of two evils?
Exactly.
Not gonna vote for anyone. I mean, why would you?
Is that like a stance that you've always had, or is this something that's developed over the last 4 years?
I feel like it's gotten worse every year, and having to pick one side or the other, I don't feel like I have a voice, There's really...
People that are in the middle, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I would agree with that.
And with how the recent debate went, can you blame him?
the economy collapsed, there were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible.
The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants. He has not done a good job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
And with Biden potentially being replaced, and not to mention Trump's trial, we have two 78 and 81-year-olds as the two best candidates to lead our country. And at this point, are we just a joke to the world? And as I discussed in my newsletter, with nearly half the world holding elections in 2024, many are saying that this is the most important year in history. But I feel like they say that every year, so that's not the only reason why I wanted to ask this, especially in the nation's capital. Because if I'm gonna be real with you, I've never voted, and I know you'll probably come after me in the comments, but I also don't plan on doing so this year. Because if I really don't want either candidate to win, isn't it just like a waste of time? But look, before you come after me, I'm always open to changing my mind, so I wanted to see who is the right candidate. Are we more divided than ever, or are we on the right path? Guess we'll see.
What would you say are America's biggest problems right now?
That America chooses to be divided into two groups, either we Republicans or Democrats, and that's wrong. We're people. That's why this two-party system creates this divide. That's the biggest problem with divided. It should at least be like 4 or 5 parties. I mean, you don't agree with this one, okay, vote for this one. That 2 parties, then they always fight.
I agree.
With each other.
And also, if it's only 2, it's probably hard to represent your vote, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest problems in America today?
Misunderstanding. If you're somebody doesn't come outside, you always watching the TV and the news, you would think that people are racist, and not saying that there aren't racist people in the world. The medias are manipulating people out here, especially when dealing with black people. It's like they always reach out to like celebrities and entertainers and rappers and stuff. I don't feel like those are the right people to like
they don't represent you as a whole.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you say are like the biggest problems in America right now?
Mental health is a real issue. Violence, mental health.
What would you say are America's biggest problems right now?
Oh, definitely the economy, right? COVID, I mean, obviously the whole world, suffered from that. I don't know if you tried to buy a house lately. Market's like absolutely insane.
It's just us. We focus on stuff that doesn't really deal with our day-to-day, the transgender, women's rights. Whereas taxes, health, school, education system, that stuff we all deal with because we all have families, we all have kids, we all have uncles, this and that.
And another problem is the government has a problem with dealing with problems outside of America's shores before they deal with America first.
Wouldn't Trump represent that a little bit better?
America first for the rich for Trump. Because he's a businessman. I feel like he's more of a America first for the business people.
So clearly there's a bunch of opinions on who the next president is, but there's one thing that's common. And it's that we're all susceptible to data brokers selling our information to spammers and scammers. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. So as you can see, Aura shows me all these data brokers that were selling my info and submits opt-out requests for me. Not only does this cut down on the spam that I get, but it also shields me from hackers that can break into my social media, bank accounts, or other private stuff because trust me, it happens. I don't know if you recently saw this, but AT&T had over 73 million of their customer records released on the dark web. And AT&T recommended those affected to use strong passwords, monitor activity, and consider credit freezes or fraud alerts. But with Aura, it does the hard work for you and I, so I don't have to download several different apps just because a company couldn't keep my information secure. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to aura.com/gen or use my link in the description to get your 2-week free trial.
So I'm curious, like in your eyes, what did Biden not do that Trump did?
If you look at the open border, the tragic deaths that we've had because of the open border, you look at the economy the way it is right now, we went from being the power across the world to something that we're kind of laughed at right now. You've got Russia off the coast of Florida right now doing military exercises. That just wouldn't happen under a Republican president.
There's like a meme going on right now. They're saying that Trump is the first black president. He's been locked up. He has multiple wives.
He can't have a weapon. He's been locked up. He cheats on his,
What do you think about him being convicted? Do you think that sets a good or bad precedent?
If he broke the law, he's convicted, which is crazy. Just like Hunter just got convicted of a weapons thing. He broke the law. The things that Trump did and the things that Hunter did, is it not something that a bunch of people have done and not gotten convicted or gotten off of lesser crimes? To me, I thought it was bad to go after him because I thought it would make him even more of a martyr and more of a symbol to his people.
I think if someone does something wrong, they should definitely, have to face, the consequences of their actions. People in power, they're always going to find ways out of things.
So I'm curious, what do you think about Donald Trump's recent conviction?
So again, my opinion is that they took a misdemeanor that the statute of limitations was gone on. They put it in Bragg's hands. He drummed up some false, narrative, if you will, and turned it into these quote-unquote felony charges. Bragg is a Democrat. The judge was a Democrat. The judge's daughter is a Democrat supporting the Biden campaign. The whole thing was set up tragically and unethically, and he obviously is not guilty of any felonies.
I think but I think that they're doing this because they're trying to stop him from becoming the president.
I would say definitely people went after him because he was a president. I don't think if he was not a president, people would have cared that much. He's a high-profile political figure, so they went after him to make an example out of. Regardless of what were the intentions, the justice system actually passed through, where members of his jury of his peers actually convicted him.
So while some Trump supporters are saying that it's all a setup and Biden supporters are saying guilty is guilty, what's been interesting though is noticing how different groups are now starting to vote differently. But is that true?
Generally, a lot of black Americans tended to vote more Democrat historically. Why do you think that's kind of changed a little bit over the years? I mean, Trump recently went on like a rally in the Bronx and a lot of people came out, and the Bronx is predominantly black.
I think like the stimulus checks have something to do with it, and People just feel like Trump is maybe a better candidate.
Well, what is it for you?
Whoever becomes president, I don't think that it'll really make a difference on my life. But we need to come together first because they really don't address black people as like just black people alone. You know, they always include like other people along with us, like LGBTQ, or they say like black and brown.
You want to know why a lot of my friends say they vote for Trump? They don't vote anyways. They just be talking. They don't know politics. They just talking. But they like, if I was to vote, I'd vote for Trump. Trump gave us a stimulus check. I'm like, any president that was in there was liable to give y'all a stimulus check. That shouldn't be your reason for wanting to vote for Trump. But you hear that a lot throughout the vaccine community. I wouldn't be mad if they say they would vote for Trump if they actually did some research. They don't do no research. They don't keep up with politics. They ignorant. They choose not to learn.
And it's facts, bro, because why is it that because you're a part of a certain group, you have to vote for a certain party? Like, I'm Asian and I'm a minority, so that must mean that I must vote Democrat, or because I live in Texas that I must vote Republican. Isn't it literally more racist and insulting to group people as a monolith just because I'm black or just because I'm Asian? I have to vote a certain way? But now, anyways, I wanted to ask about age. Because when there's an age limit of 35 and the top two candidates being mega boomers, if there's a floor, shouldn't there be a ceiling?
Do you feel like there should be age limits for presidential candidates? I think age can be a criticism that you can launch at both Trump and Biden.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I feel like some of these folks need to take intelligence tests. A lot of these people sit in a position, in Congress or wherever it is for years and years and years, and they just end up winning popular votes and that type of thing. But in terms of age, I think it's more of an issue with maybe cognitive function education. No offense to Biden, but like some of his pressers, you can't even finish the sentence. And then you look at Trump and he's the opposite. He talks too much, and it's just like you need something in the middle.
So I'm curious, what is important to you when it comes to a presidential candidate? Are there certain qualities that you look for? Is it policies, or is it just like their aura?
As a black person, I'm hoping for reparations, but we'll see. I don't know if that'll happen ever in my lifetime, but we'll see.
Do you feel like there should be like an age maximum?
Yes, like they need to, at least between 40 and 50 maybe. Like, why does every president have to be like an old fart? That's crazy to me. I don't understand that.
Do you think there should be like an age maximum, like there's an age limit?
I have to retire at 65 as a pilot. Policemen have to retire at 55. Air traffic controllers have to retire at 55. How come we have, politicians, my dad's 80. I've seen the change between 70 and 80. There's some people like are really smart, but I think there should be an age limit. And plus, term limits, but that'll never happen. Biden's been in office longer than I've been alive.
Yeah, he's a definition of a career politician, youngest senator, oldest president.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest criticisms against Biden has been his age and mental deterioration, as the other side may call it. How would you respond to those concerns?
I think for me, age does not matter. That is one of the acceptable thing in this country, ageism, which is disgraceful. I think wisdom comes with age. Biden is very wise. He has gotten a lot of stuff done legislation-wise.
How would you compare like the media treatment on both sides during Biden's presidency versus Trump's presidency?
I think if you watch one side, they trash. They watch that. The media is not unbiased, and it's both. I get my news from the comedians because they're about the only unbiased. I'll turn on Fox News, listen, and okay. I'll turn on this. It's just unbiased. They're owned by corporations, and they're pushing their narrative, and the more controversial they are, the more we watch.
I feel it's very one-sided. You get on the Republican side of things, you get one or maybe three. Fox News is one of them, right? They're obviously further to the right. Everybody else is covering the left. MSNBC, NBC, ABC, all CNN. They're told what to say. They're told what to talk about. It's propaganda, and us as the American people are not getting truth out of those news media.
Wouldn't that be the same for Fox News, but to like the audience that's on the right?
Sure, of course. Everybody wants an audience, right? Everybody wants to have ratings and to be watched and viewed. They bring forth proof. They do far more research than the other news media does.
So I guess you're saying that Fox News is a little bit more fact-based compared to the other ones.
Yes, sir.
Look, to be honest, I completely disagree with what he's saying because for mainstream media outlets for both sides, their main priority is confirming each audience's bias. So obviously they're going to pick and choose the facts that support that. But now I wanted to shift perspectives because I've only been talking to Americans. But just how you learn more about America once you leave it, maybe I can learn more about America from asking a foreigner.
Okay, so I'm here with
Alex.
Alex, where are you from?
I'm from Poland, Warsaw.
Okay, so you can't vote here, is that right?
Unfortunately not. I'm just here for 2 months for holidays.
Okay. I mean, I saw the glasses, I saw the hat, so I was curious. If you could vote for, who would you vote for and why?
I am Democratic, so I would vote for Biden, of course.
I'm curious, why do you want to vote for Biden over, let's say, Trump as a foreigner?
In Poland, we have a pretty similar situation, and just half a year ago, the Democratic Party won. We're very happy about it. We just want to maintain great relationship with the US, and I think that will be the best opportunity to do it for Biden to win.
What do you think about America?
It's amazing. It's huge and it's growing very, very fast. I love the nature here. I'm a nature enjoyer. I just don't like the distances and
that you can't walk.
You are bound to travel by car everywhere.
Sure.
That's pretty overwhelming.
What do you not like about America?
I know that you guys like to eat a lot and
You're calling us fat. Do you not like fat people or something?
I don't give a damn, but I know that it's very unhealthy for you guys.
So whether it be foreigners or Americans on both sides, it's been really interesting to see what people are thinking for the election. And it's also got me thinking of if I'm gonna vote, and if so, who? So now I wanted to ask the most important question yet. Because no matter who the next president is, are we headed in the right direction or are we cooked?
I'll go do my chant first, then let you ask the question.
The chant? All right, let's hear the chant.
Ice cream, get your one ice cream.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Are you hopeful about America's future and why?
Yes, and it's going to be, I feel like I'm always on the positive side of things. I don't think we're going to downslope. I feel like it's always going to go upwards because we have new leadership coming along.
Cool, maybe you're the next president.
I wish.
Are you optimistic about America's future, no matter who the next president is?
The country already pretty up, but we definitely need somebody in there that ain't gonna get pushed over. My opinion about Joe Biden, yeah, he's our president. He's not the real president. I feel like it's someone else calling the shot and he's just the face of it.
Wouldn't that be the same for Trump?
To a certain degree.
Are you hopeful about America's future, whoever the candidate is?
I think we'll make it. I mean, we're 300, we're a strong country. Hopefully we'll make a left or right to the right direction and stop worrying about these issues and take care of our people.
I'm a God-fearing man. I know what the Bible says, and at the end of the book, this is not a nation. It's very unfortunate, but that's a truth. I think we're getting really close to the return of Christ, and so I'm hoping and praying that we get somebody in office that can at least give us a good base to stand on for a little bit more time. But I don't know, the damage might be done already. It's hard to say.
I would say I'm not optimistic about how the world is looking right now, boss, man. I mean, you got Russia over there threatening everybody. I don't know what Putin to be sniffing something if he went crazy, but he on something. Then you got the Chinese with their aggression in the Pacific. Then you got North Korea. I mean, like, we heading into some scary times. Then you got the global economy ain't doing too well right now either. So we heading into some, I ain't too optimistic, just not for America, but for the world. I ain't too optimistic now.
It seems like you're pretty on the right, but have you ever shifted your votes to the other side?
Absolutely. I look at the facts. I look at what they're doing for our country, for my family, for my state that I live in, and how that's going to weigh out to my kids and my grandkids. If the facts aren't there for me on one candidate or the other, it really doesn't matter to me. If you're going to do right by this nation and by the people, it's supposed to be for the people, by the people. That's not how it is anymore. The government is telling us what to do, and that's not how this was set up. That's not how it was designed by our forefathers.
Have you ever voted for the other side? It seems like in this instance, you're going to be voting for a Democrat. Have you ever voted Republican and vice versa?
I vote the issues. I vote the locals, and I'll look this and that. But on the big screen, I've always voted Democrat for president. And I grew up in Louisiana, so we've always had a Democratic, well, it switches back, Democratic governor, but our senators are always Republicans. And I don't think the Republicans on the whole have their best interest in mind. Now the Democrats are just as bad. They're taking the money. The system is broken. But
so in that instance, why do you want the status quo then?
Well, because I'm scared of what Trump will do.
I see. So again, it goes back to lesser of two evils.
I'm scared that he says he gets in office, he may not get out. If he gets in office, he may change the Constitution. The things that people say, his supporters say, he's just talking. It's politics. But the guy does what he says he's going to do. He's honest about that, and he's got a hold over half the country that's unbelievable.
Do you have any last messages for people on the other side? People who want to vote for Biden and want him to become the president? Do you have any message for that side?
All I can say is pay attention to how gas went up as soon as Biden got into the seat. Pay attention to what he's doing with your tax dollars as far as taking it outside of the U.S. and giving it to help other countries allegedly. Just pay attention what they say they gonna do before you vote for them and what they really do after they in the seat. Because a lot of people will give you promises but won't hold true to them.
At this point, have I changed my mind? And if so, for who? But before I get into that, I do want to mention how much it surprised me in that there were a lot more people than I thought who didn't really care for either side. And what this showed is that people are looking for alternatives.
Have you ever considered like voting for like a third party, like an RFK in this particular election?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I feel like the issue with voting for a third party is it just takes away the votes from the other two, but then they're still competing for the #1 seat. So, I mean, it could pull votes away from someone, but I don't think a third party could ever win. You know,
it is a two-party system.
It 100% is, yeah. And it's always, I feel like it's always been that way, at least for the past like 100 years, at least. It's just crazy to me.
But then again, why vote for someone who has absolutely no shot? Ross Perot in 1992 was like the most successful recent third-party candidate, and he only got about 19% of the popular vote. But then when you see how hard it is for independent parties to get on ballots and participate in debates, and not to mention how mainstream media promotes the major parties, third-party nuances is always going to be portrayed as like a waste of votes. And maybe I'm naive and it's always been this way, but when politics today, I feel like is becoming more and more about who can best clip farm and rage bait, are we cooked as a country?
Well, Trump is evil always, and then Biden is old and should be in a retirement home, and that's the vibes I get. They always tend to focus on those negatives and not like the positives that they're doing on both sides. I mean, you look at Trump did good things. I mean, he's an you know, no doubt about it, but I mean, he did some good things for the economy, and Biden's done the same, and nobody talks about those things. It's always, what are they doing wrong? There's always going to be wrong. But is the right good enough? You know what I mean?
But with all that said, I have hope. Hope that people are waking up to the fact that choosing the lesser of two evils or blindly following a political party that you should be a part of because of your race or gender or whatever background is only furthering the divide. And hope that we're starting to finally realize that until we can come to our own conclusions and think for ourselves, and most importantly, talk to those you disagree with, until we can do that, we will never realize that whether it's old Hilly-Billy Joe or blue-haired Becky, that most of us want the 99% of the same things, and it's the 1% that we're bitching and screaming about. But if I'm gonna be real, I'm still undecided, but what I do know is that I'm damn proud to be an American. And I truly believe that as a country, we'll figure it out. But just remember that whoever this next president is about to be isn't gonna solve your problems. Just remember that it always starts with you and ends with you. And that's the mission of exploring the unfamiliar. So subscribe if you want to see our mission of changing how society approaches issues. And one way to do that is by signing up to my free weekly newsletter, as well as our merch if you want to support our mission. And if YouTube gets it right, then you'll like this video too.